Hello, AFSCME family. 2020 has been marked by world-changing, ground-shifting, and life-shattering events. I want to join President Saunders in thanking you for going above and beyond for your communities, for your coworkers, and for our country at this extraordinary moment in history. You are stepping up to the plate every day, and I'm honored to do my part as your Secretary-Treasurer. My job, as I see it, is to be a vigilant steward of our union's resources, to shine a light on the importance of public services, and to advocate for all workers, especially those in public service, in the struggle for a voice on the job and a seat at the table. As the Chief Financial Officer of our union, my primary mandate is to ensure our precious resources are used in an ethical and strategic way. The Secretary-Treasurer Online Resource Center and the Secretary-Treasurer trainings are two crucial parts of that mission. Over the past 2 years, we've reached more than 10,000 local union treasurers and other leaders with information and tools to do the job right. One of the most important and inspiring parts of my job is to support you in building strong and growing local unions. That means being on the front lines of activism, side by side with you on the doors, in the streets, and in the caravans. Since the last convention, we've launched a series of short videos called Union 411, which explore and explain the fundamentals of unionism, from collective bargaining to understanding your contract. As we count down to November 3rd, we're creating a new series of 2020 election special Union 411 videos. I'll be sharing the 411 on what's at stake for working people and where the presidential candidates stand on the issues that matter to you and your community. Because the decisions we make at the ballot box will have huge consequences for our workplaces, our family, and our nation. I want to close by lifting up what AFSCME members are doing to grow our union and build power for all workers. This year has taught us once again that having a union is the best way to make sure that we are safe at work, the best way to fight for funding for the services we provide, the best way to achieve racial, gender, and economic justice, and the best way to ensure that we are all treated with fairness and dignity. But most workers still don't have a union, and our organizing program is all about changing that. Since the last convention, more than 50,000 workers have formed unions for the first time and joined our AFSCME family. And what helped make it happen was volunteer member organizers, or VMOs, AFSCME members who reached out to non-union workers, educated them about the union, inspired them to overcome opposition from management, and invited them to join the Mean Green Machine. I recently had the opportunity to sit down for a Zoom conversation with some incredible AFSCME VMOs, Carla Mitchell, Nicanora Montenegro, and Michael Stewart. I want to share some of my favorite moments from our conversation. Take a look.
It's great to see you, Michael and Carla and Nicanora. Thanks for being with me and speaking to each other and to the AFSCME convention. What inspired you to become a volunteer member organizer?
What really inspired me was basically when I found out about a campaign. It was an 03 campaign here in Massachusetts for all the campuses across all the community colleges to get the part-time workers to receive benefits. So when I heard about the part-timers not receiving any benefits, I'm like, I had to stand up to be able to support them to get the benefits they deserved.
What about you, Nicanora?
So my heart really bled when I saw the situation. And I said, my goodness, who is going to stand up for them? Who is going to speak up for them? Because they don't even know there's a union. They don't even know that there is a way to get out of that situation and conditions that they were in.
Michael, you really drew a connection between that work that you do as a healthcare worker and your work as a union activist and as a VMO. Do you want to say a little more about that?
The same thing and the same compassion that somebody feels to go into the field of healthcare, the desire to help people live better and feel better and be better is the same type of feelings and the same desire you have when you're a union activist.
Can you think of any specific workers that you met in Virginia that their story or their conversation with you has really stuck with you?
There was one particular fellow, we knocked on his door, his whole family was there, a wonderful family, and he worked in wastewater. And at first he was a little uneasy because he was under the misimpression that the union is run by outsiders. Once he realized, and we explained to him, that the union is driven and decisions are made by the membership, not somebody outside, he was very willing to tell us a lot of details about what was going on in his particular work unit.
What about you, Nicanora? Is there a conversation that has really stuck with you from the work that you've done helping home care and child care providers form a union?
I am just a caregiver. Oh, I am just a baby, take care of a kid, something like that. That is the first barrier that must be broken. They must say, I am a caregiver. I am an essential worker. I am important. I should be seen.
So how do you ask questions of people that help them understand that need to come together collectively and to show strength in the face of fear?
You acknowledge those fears and you validate those fears, and you show empathy and that you understand. But then you reassure. You tell them, yes, one-on-one, you might experience those things, but it doesn't have to be that way. The strength comes from all your coworkers and their coworkers standing up to the boss. It's not just you and the boss anymore. It changes that power dynamic.
We were in Virginia. One amazing thing that I didn't know about Virginia is that they didn't have the right laws in place for unions, and that we actually had people sign cards for a bill that was signed. I believe it was passed to be able to formulate the union, which is pretty amazing. So we weren't only getting cards signed, we were also getting political aspects for people to support the political gain for people out there in Virginia.
Carla, it's a great reminder that there's a really strong connection between the political work that we do in terms of turning people out to vote and making changes in laws and policy, and the organizing work that we do. And that's why VMOs are involved in both. What would you say to an AFSCME member who is considering becoming a volunteer member organizer?
That it's not nearly as hard or as scary as you think it is. That most people, when you knock on their door, they're actually happy to see you. They're surprised that you're taking time out of your weekend and your days away from work to come and talk to them and hear their issues and their problems.
Our members, we members of the union, make our destiny. This is us. We are the stakeholders.
Thank you, Carla, Nicanora, and Michael, for sharing your VMO experiences with all of us. You've reminded me why it's so important to invite new workers to join our AFSCME family, and you've inspired me to recommit to that work. AFSCME family, will you join these superstar VMOs? If there's a campaign going on in your local or council, you can volunteer. If you have coworkers who are not part of our AFSCME family or another union, you can invite them to join us. If you know of public service workers in your community who are not represented by a union, talk to your local president or staff rep about reaching out to them. The bottom line is we all have a role to play in growing our union. AFSCME members are never stronger than when we are organized, mobilized, and united. Let's show the world that AFSCME strong power.